Hey guys, Luke here and welcome to another edition of the League Report with Luke. Now, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the first story. And that first story is Zac Lomax has re-signed with the Dragons on a 5-year deal. Now, it's a crazy deal for me. It's the longest deal in the Dragons' history as what's been reported. I don't know if that's the case, legit, but that's what they're all saying, so let's go with it. Now look, I'm not going to say Zac Lomax is a bad player or doesn't have a lot of talent. However, this is a big call because he hasn't really showed too much in the NRL. Now, I'm not going to talk about lower leagues or his junior days. I'm just purely going to be talking about NRL, and for what I've seen from him, he hasn't really done too much. He's been tried on the wing, he's been tried in the centres. Apparently, he's going to be tried at fullback. Currently, that is his actual position. He is a fullback. I believe McGregor said he's going to get first crack at fullback. However, the fact that he hasn't even been able to lock down a permanent spot in first grade, and yet they're throwing big money at him, I think it says a lot about the Dragons at this point. Now, I can kind of see from the Dragons' perspective what they're trying to do. They're hoping to sign him up on a big contract long term. However, we've all seen as of late, I mean, look, Ryan Mountaineer is the latest one. Signing up players on, what you think is a good deal. 500k might be overs right now, but in a few years' time, he could be $1 million player. Who knows? But if he ever does become that $1 million player, he's definitely not going to be sticking around. They're just going to, chuck a fit and they're going to find a way out of the club. It's just not going to happen. So it doesn't really work for clubs these days. So, yeah, I'm not sure about the thought process of signing him. Well, I know the thought process, but I don't know whether it's a good one. Hopefully for Dragons fans, though, this all works out for them, and Zac Lomax ends up becoming a star fullback in season 2020. Whether it will happen, who knows, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now into the next bit of news. Vunivalu from the Melbourne Storm, he's off to Super Rugby. Vunivalu has signed a 2-year deal with the Queensland Reds, so he joins Will Chambers, Marika Korobetti's left. Even Israel Folau came through the Melbourne system. A lot of the Melbourne players end up going to rugby union. I don't know if it's just something about the way they train or how they play, or I don't know, they got a few Fijians in there. Vunivalu apparently played rugby growing up. Korobeti was probably the same. Maybe it's the Fijian blood in them that they've played rugby growing up, so they're going back to rugby. But yeah, the Melbourne Storm seems to produce a lot of rugby players. Also, just on the Melbourne Storm, it seems that they're losing all of their backs as well. I mean, like I said, Chambers is left already. Vunivalu is now going to be leaving in season 2021. Josh Adokar, lots of rumours about him. They just lost Curtis Scott. They've nearly lost their whole bloody back line. Then you factor in that Cameron Smith isn't probably too far away from retiring, and the Melbourne Storm are looking at a big rebuild. Although, if there's any team that can do it, it's the Melbourne Storm. But just back on Vunivalu, now obviously he's a pretty good rugby league player. He's a pretty good winger. Would I say he's an elite winger? No, he does have a lot of brain snaps, but he is a pretty good finisher. He makes a lot of meters. He's good for the Storm system. Now, will he cut it in rugby union? I'd say so. Everyone else who comes to rugby league seems to cut it in rugby union. So, yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't. But, yeah, there's lots of talks about him. I think some rugby union greats are coming out and saying he's going to be a better player than Israel Folau and all that sort of stuff. I just don't see that happening. Now, we just got done talking about Vunivalu, who isn't exactly the most likable NRL player. Moving on to someone who definitely is not likable, and that's Tetevano. He signed a deal with the Penrith Panthers. Now, look, straight up, I don't like the dude. I know he's played for the Roosters, and that's not why. It's nothing to do with the Roosters, in fact. I think he's kind of somewhat turned his life around, but wherever this guy went, there just seemed to be trouble. Going back to his Knights days, he went to Manly, then he got done for domestic violence. He bashed his missus 4 times, apparently. Just avoided jail time and ended up working his way back into the NRL through the Roosters. Now, he's gone on to be a good player. I don't think the talent was ever in question. However, it was always off-field stuff, which he seems to have sorted, but I just can't really forgive him for something like that. However, he has signed with the Penrith Panthers, and in terms of playing ability, I think he will be a good signing for Penrith. I wouldn't like him signing for my club, but that's just me. Now, moving on from a new Penrith signing to a former Penrith player. He's the former Penrith captain, current Cronulla Sharks player, Matt Moylan. Now, there was a lot of talk about him maybe going to the West Tigers. He's on the outer at the Sharks. Well, I mean, everybody seems to be kind of on the outer. They don't have much cap space, apparently, and they've kind of got too many players to go into that back line. I mean, Josh Dugan might not even get a run. Matt Moylan might not get a run. Josh Morris might not get a run. They got a lot of backline players for only a few positions, and they've also got a lot of good youngsters as well. And then you add in the fact that they're under some cap pressure. They need to get rid of some players. Matt Moylan was apparently that one. However, he's turned down an offer from the Tigers. At least that's what the reports are. Now, poor Tigers, they can't seem to sign anybody. They've pulled out the race for Latrell Mitchell, but there's also talks that maybe they actually are still in the race for Latrell Mitchell. Who really knows at this point, but it's safe to say Matt Moylan is not going to be a West Tiger in season 2020. But Tigers fans, don't be worried, because I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think Matt Moylan has been that good of a player for a few years now. He's very injury prone. Now, when he's playing, I'm sure he could be a decent player, but he's been moving between fullback and 5'8", and, the injury reserve list. He just hasn't really done a lot in the last few years. Ever since he sort of left the Penrith Panthers, he's done absolutely nothing. So for me, I think it's a blessing in disguise, the fact that the Tigers have missed out on him, because I think think they would have thrown big money at him, and they probably would have, had another case of Josh Reynolds or something like that, where they've thrown big money and he's just going to end up on the sideline more than not. Now, so far, we've been talking about players for the most part in these League Report videos. This time, we're going to be talking about a former player. It's Andrew Johns. Joey Johns is now a coach at the Parramatta Eels. Now, as of late, there'd been a little bit of talk that he was going to go back to Newcastle Knights and do a little bit of coaching there. However, he's found himself as a half coach, I believe, with the Parramatta Eels. And I got to say, I don't know whether that's a good signing. I know there's a lot of talk like, oh my God, Andrew Johns has signed on for Parramatta Eels. They're going to be a top 4 team. They're going to win a premiership. This is going to be so good for them. But Andrew Johns, in his track record, you go back and look at all the teams he's worked with, whoever he ends up working with, they never seem to go very good while he's at the club. Now, I'm not going to go into after he's left or anything like that, but just in terms of his tenure at the club, they never seem to go well. Matthew Johns, on the other hand, seems to be the one with the magic touch. He seems to be the one that can help halves. But Andrew Johns, I don't know, some players, you see them talk about it, some of them just have it so natural. Andrew Johns is probably one of them. I mean, the fact that he was on drugs half of his career and was that good probably says he had a lot of natural ability. So sometimes those guys with a lot of natural ability, it doesn't translate well to them being a coach because they don't really know how to coach things because it just came so easy to them. They don't even know how they're doing it themselves. So maybe Andrew Johns is one of them. Maybe not. We'll find out. We'll see how the Eels go. We'll see how Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses go in season 2020. Now, while we're on the theme of the Eels, and I just mentioned Dylan Brown, let's talk about Dylan Brown. He's just re-signed with the Eels on a 3-year deal. It's reportedly worth $650,000 a year. Now, that is big money, especially for someone who is not a rookie, but he's only played 1 year. He was actually injured for a big part of the year. However, when he did play, he did look quite good. He does look very promising, and we've seen with the market, we just saw Zac Lomax just sign a big contract without really doing too much. I think Dylan Brown has showed more in first grade than Zac Lomax. So $650,000, while it is a little bit probably, they're paying a little bit of overs for him. I feel like he's someone that a lot of clubs would have wanted. I mean, there was talk before he'd even played first grade last year that the Warriors were trying to talk to him. I think that's where all the legal stuff happened because they were talking to him when they shouldn't have been. But yeah, he was an in-demand player, and I think for good reason. He's a very, very good player. I think between him and Mitchell Moses, they have a pretty good halves combo for a few years to come. And then you add in Joey Johns going to help. Maybe that's going to be a good move, maybe not. But yeah, Dylan Brown, $650,000 a year. It is a risky move, but I think it is a good move. I think it will pay off in the end for Parramatta. I think Parramatta actually making a lot of good signings as of late. Now we move on to our next bit of news. We're going to be talking about Jai Arrow. Now, he hasn't signed with anyone. This is just a rumour. Now, Mal Meninga has come out and has said that he's not going to get into a bidding war with Jai Arrow. It's believed that the Titans are going to offer him something along the lines of $650,000, which we just talked about Dylan Brown, $650,000 for Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown, he's done a little bit in the NRL, but Jai Arrow is a Queensland player. He's a Queensland origin player. He's a very, very good player for the Titans. He really carries that Titans side. And I know the Titans aren't a very good team, but he definitely is their best player by quite some distance. And the fact that they're offering only like $650,000, I think that's an insult. Now, given what Mal Meninga has said and what the reports are of his offer from the Rabbitohs, I believe the Rabbitohs offered him something on the lines of $800,000, which I think is about right for Jai Arrow. He's going to even demand a lot more. Jai Arrow is a fantastic player. He doesn't get the raps he deserves because he plays at the Titans. But yeah, $600,000, $650,000, whatever it was from the Titans, that's absolutely abysmal. Now, if I was Jai Arrow, I know what I'll be doing. I'll be hopping on the first plane to Sydney, getting out of there. Titans aren't going to win a premiership. You're not even going to get paid well there. Well, you aren't going to get paid well, but in terms of, other teams can offer, he can move to the Rabbitohs. He can get paid more. He can be in a team coached by Wayne Bennett, potentially push for a premiership. The Rabbitohs offer seems like a way better offer, in my opinion. So, yeah, expect Jai Arrow to be a Rabbitoh. And if not a Rabbitoh, just not a Titans. Expect him anywhere else but the Titans. That's ridiculous. Now, that's all the main news out of the way. There's a few little things I thought I would talk about. Michael Jennings has re-signed with the Eels. He continues all the Eels signings. Just talked about Dylan Brown. I said the Eels have been making a lot of good signings. Michael Jennings is another one of them. Maybe when he first signed, he was on overs, but right now, I'd assume he's taken a bit of a pay cut, and I thought he was actually pretty good this past season. So I think he adds a little bit of experience to the side. They do have experience in that side, but they're probably not one of the more experienced side. So Michael Jennings, he just adds that to the team. And also the fact that he's with Sivo. Sivo definitely inexperienced. So I think Michael Jennings is a good centre pairing for Sivo. Now, talking about good centres, the Newcastle Knights have signed Shibasaki. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, he's definitely not a good centre. The Broncos fans absolutely ecstatic to be losing him. Knights fans not exactly ecstatic to be signing him. Now, the talk is that he's going to be moved to the second row. Maybe that's going to be a good move. Who knows? Probably not. I mean, the whole problem at the Broncos is that he couldn't catch the ball, so I don't know how moving him to the second row changes things, but, I mean, he wouldn't be the first person to come out and surprise people. I mean, look at Brad Parker. He was a joke a few years ago, and now he's actually a pretty solid first grader. Also, just while we're on the Broncos, this happened just recently, literally just as I was about to start recording this. They announced the re-signing of Staggs until the end of season 2021. Now, they've just lost Shibasaki. I know they're absolutely devastated to lose him, the Broncos, but Staggs is re-signed, so there you go. You can't be crying too much. Actually, you know what? It's been a pretty good day for the Broncos. They just lost Shibasaki, who they wanted to leave, and they've just re-signed Staggs, who's an absolute star. What a gun center. So, yeah, good work, Broncos. Anyway, guys, that's all the stories over and done with. Hopefully, you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to follow me on social media. It's Mr. Luke on YT. That's on the screen right now. Also, add me on Snapchat as well while you're at it. It's the same as what's on the screen right now. Mr. Luke on YT. My Facebook page is in the description below as well. Or just search up Mr. Luke. Also, while you're at it, leave in the comment section below or message me on social media or anything. Just any sort of rumors or news or video ideas or just anything. Just send me a message or leave in the comment section below. Just anything, really. Righto, guys. That's all I got to say. That's how I'm going to end the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.